Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. OpTic complete an absolute demolition job on the Florida Mutineers for technically their first series win of the season, but drama ensues after they refuse to do the post-match interview with the CDL. Lots to dive into today. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. First of all, Major 1 is coming up in a couple of weekends' time. There will be 4 challenger teams at that event. Those 4 teams will be determined from an 8-team play-in, and 8 teams qualify from around the world. The qualifiers for the 8-team play-in down to the 4 for the groups at Major 1 was today. 3 teams get into the 8-team play-in from NA, 3 from EU, 1 from APAC, and 1 from Latin America. Those teams have now been pretty much determined. Now, Doug sent to Martin and Co. Beans finally got over to the US, into Boston with the rest of the boys, and he has been absolutely fine, man. This guy is already better than many players in the league, in my opinion, and right now Boston are very good, so it's tough to see him actually getting a shot in Boston's starting team, but I hope he does at some point, because, man, this guy is different. Dropped 15 kills to clutch a 2v4 with Doug in the Game 5 Round 11 to beat Chino's team. Unfortunately, with Doug and Co, they didn't actually make it in the end. They came 4th, and they just needed to be 3rd to qualify. From the APAC region, Zeppa, Crimsa, Restalling, and Durdev, they qualified. I'm not really sure from Latin America, so I'll definitely stay tuned for that one. From Europe, these were the 3 teams. Journey's team, they were looking really good. The Awoba Bobs as well, that's aBeZy and Co, and then Gizmo, Harry, Denzer, and Vortex Elevate. So those 3 teams will be out there at Major 1. Then from NA, the first team that qualified, the number 1 seed, was 2 Real coming for revenge in the league with Hollow, Mock, and iLLeY. This is really cool because this is Parasite's team. Not on paper a team that was expected to be the best team in Challengers in North America, but this is Parasite. He's coaching this lineup. So impressive stuff from the team, but also Parasite from that coaching side as well. This was the second team that qualified: Assault, Diamondcon, Exceed, and Joe Deceives. That's the LAG Academy. And the third team was the Rokkr Academy. They took down Boston and Doug 3-1. So look, they'll go again, but still, those are going to be the 8 teams in attendance. Doug, of course, disappointed not to make it and not have a chance to get into the groups and therefore go on to play against the pros. But yeah, good tournament nonetheless today. Let's dive into the CDL then, because man, we had some series. I'll do Toronto versus New York briefly tomorrow morning, but we've got to talk LAG versus London. Crazy series because game 1 LAG won despite getting outslayed, or like the slaying was certainly not in favor of LAG. And this is the thing with LAG right now. Their slaying has been absolutely atrocious in both the series they've played. They have gone 1-1 and both their series have gone game 5, but their slaying has been awful. Now they're winning some hard points, getting outslayed massively, which is fine, but it's concerning, I think, if you're an LAG fan, because over time you can teach the fundamentals, right? You can learn the fundamentals, but the gun skill, the pure ability that is inherent in this team, if it's not there, then it's kind of like not there. So I don't know, maybe you guys think differently on this, but at LAG 1 map 1, London, honestly, they're like 18-4 in search and destroy round count so far. This is why scrims, you can't tell that much from it, because if their search and destroy is godlike, doesn't really matter how their scrims are going in hardpoint, they're going to be a great team, and so far they've just dominated. LAG should be good at search. They got blown out the water here. Then, well, game 3, another 3-0 in control. London just seem to absolutely own Hotel right now, and like aSeam, it just comes different in any grudge match series. Put aSeam up against LAG, put aSeam up against New York, this guy is going to deliver the goods. And London, when they're on a form like this, are really entertaining to watch. So impressive series again by London. Now it does go game 5. Kind of funny really, because LAG theoretically could be a team that should be doing the Nesloing, as in a 2-3-5, win both searches and the control. This time it's London that do that. So London probably should have won this game 4, to be honest. They pretty much threw it away towards the ends, but they do send it game 5. London frustrated, but in fairness to London, and I think we've seen previous London teams, like mentally they can collapse a bit, and this is where I think aSeam as an individual can be so valuable to teams. Like he's the guy that in those situations, you've just thrown away a map 4, it's going round 5 or it's going map 5, just to keep the composure there and to big the team up and to make sure they're in the right headspace. aSeam's really good at stuff like that, and I'm sure he was impactful in this situation to get them to dominate the game 5, and yeah, as London say here, it's coming home, as again they just completely run away with the search and destroy here. So yeah, dominant performance honestly from London. Yes, it went all the way to a game 5, but still I felt like London were solely on top in this series. And just to even look at this, right, aSeam in his revenge games up against New York and up against Rokkr and previous teams he's been on, like this guy always delivers the goods and drops crazy numbers. In his 3 revenge series in the last 3 seasons, he's dropped a 1.36 average KD, so that is not too bad. He is the man to call. And look at these results, right? I mean, you look at these numbers, you'd have thought London beat these guys 3-1 or pretty comfortably. It was a pretty tight series, but this is the thing with the numbers, right? I mean, look, Spart is on a 3-year deal. He's got a 0.8. RC Shotzy's on a 3-year deal, got a 0.85. Neptune, okay, like on an SMG, it's tough in this game, but obviously this performance is not going to cut it across the team. So yeah, I don't know who you guys think is the worst team in the game right now, but LAG, despite being 1-1, have just not impressed me so far, with London looking pretty good. So fair play to them for sure. Even this, before we dive into the OpTic series, thought was pretty interesting. From Attach in the chat, put that SEA away. Trust me, right? I think Zero pulled it out by accident and thankfully could get rid of it before the glitch occurred. Thankfully, that drama didn't happen again, but it was not too far away from happening if the glitch had occurred, as it did to Cammy just a couple of days ago. Let's talk about the OpTic series then, and before we talk about that, we've got to mention the viewership numbers here, because I thought maybe it was just day one of Twitch, the return, it was going to be really good, because yes, the drops are a factor here, but the drops are also factors on many other esports and their viewing numbers. Clearly, a lot of people who watched the first couple of days have stayed around, because some of these numbers we're seeing, like, we have not seen this like ever before in my memory for online qualifiers. Goes to show what can be possible in Call of Duty when you start the season early and, you know, put it on Twitch, right, where a lot of the fans are. 150,000 plus viewers, like, even the regular Call of Duty broadcast here at 154k at one point for the OpTic series. Pretty sure it got higher than this as well. And even in the next series, FaZe versus Thieves, it topped out to over 140k on just the main broadcast, including co-streams. It was way above 160 for a non-OpTic match. Like, and this is an online qualifier, not even a major. Like, this is unprecedented stuff, and it really is great to see the potential that COD has, and hopefully it will make them take it more seriously, maybe as a force in esports. It can be, and well, thankfully we're starting to see some of that potential over the last few days. But let's talk about this OpTic series then, because man, it was a bloodbath for Florida. Bit of a messy game one at times. I mean, look, Mercado, it's got what, 7.5 points? Is it 6? I don't even know anymore. I think it's maybe 7. There's a lot of them on this map anyway. And yeah, Shotzzy made a massive 6-piece at the end of this game to get the job done here for OpTic, and that was well, he went on a quick little 6 streak, including this final kill. 25-17. This guy's POV is always a fun time to watch. OpTic take the game 1. Map 2 as well. It was a bit back and forth early on, and kind of like we've seen before with certain players turning up in key moments, right? We saw this with Afro clutching the 1 versus 1 against Scrappy. We saw it with Awakening in the FaZe series, clutching the 1v2 that he did. Like, you know, another great example here from iLLeY. Nice play with the sniper rifle. Down 3-2 in this one. The bomb defuse comes through. iLLeY gets 1 kill, gets the second as well, and that's job done. Stops the plants. And then this was a lovely round as well, up 4-3 at this point. iLLeY making, well, he was trying to make some plays with the sniper. This was a really tough round though, right? You're down 4-3, the bomb is planted. Seems like an impossible situation. iLLeY wins this gunfight here on Davikal. Now 2v2. Still the favor is in Florida's favor here, because, you know, 18 seconds on the clock left. Dashy just dropped shots. Brack, now it's Havoc in a 1 versus 2. Great search and destroy player, but he, yeah, was not having a good time this series. And with 10 seconds on the clock, someone's got to hop the bomb. iLLeY gets the kill and hops the defuse just in time. Like, yeah, madness of a retake there from OpTic Texas. Incredibly well executed. Yeah, bit of a breakdown from Florida, but nonetheless impressive. 5-3, quickly the round, or the map goes in their favor. And that's the thing with Florida. When they lose the search and destroy, it's not looking so good for this team, and they get blown out the water in the control as well. Shotzzy was going off again. So yeah, impressive series from OpTic. We did wonder really, look, they should be beating Florida, no doubt, but I did wonder, would the kind of, you know, would they still be checked out from what happened against Rokkr, or would they funnel that aggression into a phenomenal performance, which is exactly what they did. So look, some would argue they're undefeated on the week. Technically, they're 1-1 on the week according to the numbers, and in the grand scheme of things, it won't matter that much. Still looks okay for their Major 1 qualification, and they've shown what they really are capable of. And this meta right now is rather good for them. I think the M4s, like the ability for Scump to run an M4 every series is just like unbelievable for this OpTic team. And it just makes me sad this guy was retiring, because he had the most damage, the most kills in the lobby, incredible KD and search and destroy. Like, this guy's obviously still got it, right? And this was the immediate reaction from the OpTic camp after the fact. Enjoyed the victory, and yeah, they go into the weekend still, I'm sure, frustrated about Friday, but nonetheless on a bit of a high after a great result. Now, it got spicier though, because as iLLeY says, teammates are disgusting, and they move on with the W. Scump says, you know, GG's Florida 1-3-0. But usually after the series, there's an interview that happens, right? One player goes on broadcast, talks to the stream, and says, hey, yeah, we did this, we did that, takes up the praise, answers a few questions that may or may not be good. This time, not the case. OpTic have effectively refused to do the interview. They said, yeah, we're not doing it. And yeah, I do wonder exactly how long this feud is going to continue, because OpTic are are clearly not happy about the CDL decision from Friday. Understandably, I might add, as we mentioned many times before. But now they're kind of taking this power play to another level and saying we're not even doing interviews anymore. Now, this is quite the statement from OpTic not doing this. We haven't really seen teams do this in the past and refuse interviews in this way. The CDL will probably fine them, but there's nothing really more the CDL can do here, I suppose. So, I wonder if there's going to be a response to this, if any at all. But nonetheless, interesting, right? That, they just dipped out of the interview and won't even do it. Maybe next week they'll start doing interviews again, and eventually this frustration will go away, especially if they start having a good season, as it seems like they've got the capability to do so. But, is it a 2-0 start? That's what some, I'm sure, will be saying. And even this in Puckett I thought was pretty funny. Why are your boys dodging me on the desk? I'm trying to gas those plays up, fair enough. But, I guess OpTic not best of friends with the CDL and their decisions on Friday. And as such, they're going to make a statement for the time being by not interacting with anything along those lines. I'm definitely intrigued your thoughts on that in the comment section below. Thought that was the spiciest thing of the day. And honestly, kind of unexpected to me. I suppose we could have thought they might do this. But, I wasn't really expecting that reaction, to be fair, from the OpTic camp. But, they certainly responded in terms of their performance here. Scump a 1.25, Dashy a 1.32, dominance across the board. Harik, though, man, it wasn't looking so pretty. 0.51, that's obviously the lowest KD so far this season. 4k damage, not great, but look, the regain might be there for Florida. They are going to be a team, and Florida have, obviously been a problem for OpTic in the past, right? Maybe on LAN they will be, but they will do the occasional 2-3-5 Florida, and then sometimes they'll just get 3-0 smoke showed. That's how it's going to be with this team. And the final series to cover in this video was an absolute cracker. Series of the season so far for me, FaZe versus Thieves. This was great for so many reasons. Not only was there like 160,000+ people watching it on Twitch, and that's, as I say, for a non-OpTic online qualifier, absolute madness. But look, great drama with these guys, right? A rematch of the grand finals from champs last year, the Drazah versus FaZe stuff, the Slasher versus Thieves stuff, always a good time. And Thieves have won 4 straight against FaZe coming into this one, and FaZe didn't look good at all against Boston a few days ago, but they switched up. And maybe the rumours of FaZe's downfall have been rather significantly exaggerated or overstated, right? Because Cellium is still an absolute force to be reckoned with. 30-14 to start game 1. Game 2, I'm sure that FaZe think they should have taken it. Went all the way to around 11 here, and Envoy clutches a very nice, well, it was a 1v2 technically. I think he got one very important kill just before this to set up the 1v2. Simp kind of, can't do much here. He's got to choose one out of 2 directions that Envoy can come from. Envoy chooses the right direction, clutches the 2v3 for his team. Then at game 3, control, it goes FaZe's way. This was a banger control map, and yes, it was all defensive wins. Doesn't mean it wasn't entertaining though, because there were a lot of great chances for teams to win offenses here. Thieves almost did it, FaZe almost did it, and just in the end, the defensive team held strong. If offense was just marginally easier, then we might be in an okay spot here. Maybe just a couple of tweaks, but the map was still entertaining despite the fact that it's very defensive heavy, clearly. And it was a really entertaining match, no doubt. But FaZe take it, they move up 2-1 in the series. Then at game 4 goes Thieves' way. They pretty much blow FaZe out here on the Hydro map that they haven't really had too much success on so far. But game 5, again, was kind of the FaZe show. This I thought was pretty funny. Slasher even knifed his own teammates on this map, just kind of showing dominance to the opposition. But yeah, Slasher versus Thieves, that's always going to be a good one. Drazah versus FaZe. And FaZe showing they're not, they're not just disappearing here. Thieves, still a great team. I'm sure they'll have great success this season. But all these teams right now have a lot to work on, and no team is infallible at the moment, apart from, London, Boston, and maybe Minnesota, is it? Those are the 3 teams that are currently 2-0 after week 1. So, impressive from those, but every other team is 1-1 or worse. These are the overall stats just to show you guys. Cell is just back at it again, like he never left, baby. A 1.52 for the W. You can talk all you want about Cellium's playstyle, but it was effective for them here. Game 5 victory, and just great stuff all across the board. Some reaction here from Octane. They know it's early days, there's a lot to learn, but pretty interesting to see already that FaZe have got some revenge at a very small level for their grand finals defeat at the World Championship. But I'm sure many more matches this season to come between these 2 teams. Certainly expect them to be some of the best when we get to LAN. But hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.